tonight, we're going to try to attempt to answer a very serious and very sober question. What in the holy heck is going on in America right now? I mean, it is nuts. It does not even feel like America. First of all, we've got a boastful, strong man who's playing fast and loose with the facts. We've got media sources that almost have to pick between either being pro-opposition or pro-government. We've got massive demonstrations and now counter-demonstrations flooding the streets in America. It actually feels more like the politics of a developing country, not the most advanced nation on earth. So what in the world is going on? Well, tonight we're going to try to figure it out. And here's how I see it. First of all, you got to try to understand your new president. Not just agree with them or disagree with them, but really try to understand him. Now, here's my take. In Trump world, we are seeing a big clash now between mythology and math, okay? To his detractors, Trump just sounds crazy. He sounds like, you know, he's somebody who's like gone off the rails. Like, you know, my inauguration crowd was massive. It was the biggest ever. And the inauguration was viewed by more people than ever. And if you take away the millions of invisible, undocumented immigrants, I even won the popular vote. Now, without getting into all of that, just trust me, the math actually obliterates all of these whoppers. So why does he keep saying stuff like this? It's because the Trump mythology requires him to say it. Now, I'm not just talking about his braggadocious brand. It's much, much deeper than that. If you want to understand your president, consider there may actually be a method to all this madness. Remember, Trump does not see himself as a normal politician, and he never had the strategy of a normal politician. A normal politician who wants to prove himself would just point to the Constitution, the Electoral College, and be done with it. But notice something. Trump almost never even mentions the Constitution. Instead, he talks about polls and ratings and crowd sizes. Polls, ratings, and crowd sizes. Why? Because Trump sees himself as the leader of a mass movement, first and foremost. And movements are measured by how many people you are moving. Okay? Trump sees himself as a populist, which means he needs to be popular. How popular are you when you can't even win the popular vote? Okay? So when you knock his vote totals, you are striking at the very source of this man's legitimacy. Trump needs to believe that he has the masses with him. So, given his mythology and his strategy, which is to position himself as a populist leader, it's actually rational in his mind for him to talk about the numbers, even if he has to make up some of them. It's not just psychopathy, it's strategy. Keep that in mind with this president. Now, what about the anti-Trump resistance? They are also misunderstood. You know, those big marches, bunch of sore losers, get over it. Trump won, he's got to do what he wants to do. Au contraire. You might want to rethink that. I remember 2009 when the Democrats had the White House and the Senate and the House, and President Obama was the most popular human being on earth, and we thought that we were invincible. And then the Tea Party showed up, and they were teeny tiny with little bitty protests, just a couple hundred people, and we kind of laughed them off. 24 months later, that little nothing movement had grown, and it took over the House of Representatives, and they still have the House. Now, by comparison, these women's marches were massive. So this really could be the start of something big. Do not underestimate the anti-Trump resistance. But before I move on, I gotta say this. Before I praise them too much, it is fair to ask, where was all this progressive passion and enthusiasm when it might have mattered? Like during the election? Like, that's the part that drives me nuts. I'm sure most of these marchers also voted. But how many of them actually volunteered, got involved, did the phone banking, went to swing states, raised money? You know, you can be mad at Trump all you want, but here's the messy truth. Deep down, most Democrats know they totally underestimated Trump, totally, and they didn't do everything they could have done to beat him. So let that be a lesson to everybody on both sides. Democracy requires hard work every day, before, during, and after an election. Whichever side forgets that in this environment is going to regret it.